thrift haul. So once again, I forgot to film myself as I went and did some thrifting, but I had a pretty good day. I've had a bit of a dry spell lately, so today was nice and refreshing. First off, not really film related, but a nice Manfrotto monopod. Doesn't have the head, but not a big deal. I have ones that I can put on there. $3, so nice. Always good to have a monopod for photography or videography especially. And I don't have one for videography, although theoretically you can just use a tripod and but it's always nice to have just a solid monopod. This, a Ricoh 50mm 1.7. Not exactly sure how much this is worth, but I've actually never ran across a Ricoh lens while thrifting, and it's actually some very underrated glass as well as the cameras compared to, you know, everything else, Nikon, Canon, Minolta, all that kind of stuff. Ricoh glass is actually very good, and I think the main problem I have with them is that most people see them as kind of, you know, lower end cheap cameras. So often when I find them, they're not taken care of very well at all. I haven't had the chance to kind of test them on my own, but I'm not exactly sure what mount it is, but I'm gonna figure it out. Maybe it's the same as something else. If not, I'll see if I can find something Ricoh lying around. I'm sure Chris has something. Minolta SRT 201. Nice solid little find with the 50mm F2 MD, which is in excellent shape. Body itself, not too bad. Guffs, a little ding here on the side, but nothing that hinders the working functionality of this. Again, this is one of those tank cameras that is all but indestructible. Shutter speeds all work. Everything is in good order. Something funky was a little up at the film door, so I'll have to check that out, but it does open and close properly. It's missing the plastic part on the advanced lever, which is common. Doesn't affect performance at all, it's just an aesthetic thing. So, another nice find. Lastly, which kind of took me off guard, I got this one from a place that usually lists it at full retail, if not over full retail. And of course, since they don't test anything or anything of that sort, I never buy anything from there. But I figured I'd swing by since they had already kind of had good luck at the other spot. And so, what we have here, with a very nice case, might I add, is the Yashica Electro 35. Still has some film in it, which is some cheap Walmart or Winn-Dixie or Walgreens film or something like that. So, yeah, Winn-Dixie, who would have thought? Winn-Dixie made film. Normally I would develop something like that, but don't really feel like doing it. It's got the nice 45mm f1.7 lens on it. Shutter speed does work. The battery compartment I checked is in excellent shape, so I'm going to pop in a battery and hope that that works really well. But another solid find. It's in excellent condition, and I got a great deal on it, so I'll be able to clean this up, probably put this on the shop, maybe test it through with a roll of film, something like that. But yeah, all in all, not a bad day.
On the topic of SRTs, this is still on my desk. I've been searching for a specific hex nut driver I needed for a very little notch in there, which I have now taken out. There it is. So I can finally continue to work on this and hopefully get that wrapped up. And then also, another SIT, this SRT 200, is actually getting shipped out now. Somebody just purchased this one, so it's got to be packed up and sent off.
I'm just developing film. So I just got back from a night of shooting. I actually took out Ilford Delta 3200, which is a black and white film for those of you who don't know, and I put it through the Nikon F3. First time shooting the F3. I got it recently for a good deal, and I can understand why people love it, and I can also understand why some people don't love it. But it is a good camera. It's a solid build, so we'll definitely be talking about this, and I'll be using it again with future films just to kind of get a better feel for it and everything and see what all the hype is about. But so far, I'm holding my emotions and thoughts until later. We'll see how the 3200 comes out, and then we'll talk. Also, I did some experimenting with some video, and I took some photos with it as well. I'm not sure if any of you have ever tried the fake anamorphic look which I know anamorphic lenses in general are pretty popular now. And then so people are trying these whole fake anamorphic things to kind of see if they can get close enough to the real anamorphic, which, you know, obviously there's a lot that goes into an anamorphic lens and a lot that goes into creating that anamorphic film look for video. Obviously the image is stretched and you have to condense it back in post, and then the lights, and it's a whole process. But so the quickest and easiest way to kind of do that fake anamorphic look is, man, this just looks, ugh. So what you do is you take maybe some thick cardboard or a thin plastic sheet of some sort, and you cut out a oval-ish shape in that and cut it to the length and cut it to the circle size of your lens, and then you put a thin strip of fishing line through the center of that. So this will sit on the camera this way, so your oval goes vertical and then that fishing line goes vertical as well. And so what happens is, of course, when the light hits that fishing line, it puts a thin beam across the frame, creating your fake anamorphic look. So I use the Takumar lenses because I have the nicer adapter for the Fuji for these lenses. And so all I did was cut out that cardboard. I used a little bit of gaff tape because I really do enjoy these lenses. I don't want to ruin them. Just a tad bit of gaff tape and then a rubber band to keep the cardboard and the fishing line on the lens. So I used my 50 1.4, and then I also used, well, actually I don't even know if I used it. I think it for a couple shots. Tried it on the 85mm 1.9. It looks terrible. Let's just clarify that. This looks awful. But it costs, what, a grand total of like 30 cents. So I'll put up some video and some photos of that. But yeah, so that's how I spent my night walking around downtown with the Fuji and the Nikon F3. So it's South Florida and it's wrapping up the end of summer, so I was drenched in sweat, and I'm really excited to take this shirt off and take a shower. And then lastly, I've been playing around with, you know, kind of the cinematic, like B-roll, product, video type stuff, trying to do more of that handheld, and of course then more of that without me having to actually hold the camera, which makes it a little more difficult. When you don't have fancy rigs or sliders or anything like that, you kind of improvise and make things up. So maybe I'll post some of that if I have any of it done tonight. If not, this is just kind of a general, you know, video on what's going on and what I'm working on. Another thing, I have this Nikon N2000 here. I have two of them actually. One was a parts body I've had for a while, and then I came across another one, parts body, and so I'm pretty sure I can combine the two. This one's got the fancy data back too. I'm pretty sure I can combine the two and get one solid body out of this and put some film through it. So that kind of wraps up what I'm up to and what I'm doing. I mean, this is just kind of a general video, just, you know, just to kind of get across the idea to, you know, not isolate yourself to just shooting one thing or doing one type of thing, you know, kind of experiment, play around, try different things, even if it looks awful and you may never do it again. You might get some cool results out of it. You might learn something. It might be something interesting that you can improve other aspects of your photography or videography with. So yeah, experiment, do some weird stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.